Hello, and welcome back to this week's episode from the 2003 version of the Twilight Zone. And this week it is The Eye of the Beholder, which is of course a remake of the episode of the same name from 1960. They've been fairly faithful to the original, and maybe that's to the detriment of the episode. I mean, the twist is spoiled, and I don't think anyone who watched this show in 2003 didn't know what this episode was about, or at least they could easily have known. They still do a good job of blocking people's faces and heads, and there's backlighting and all this kind of stuff, but it's kind of spoiled. We know why they're doing it, but they're still doing a good job. They're being faithful to it. Forrest mentions that she's in a private world of darkness, which is the alternative title to the original episode. It was actually broadcast under that name on one or two of the reruns, I think. The slogan "Obedience leads to harmony" reminds me very much of John Carpenter's "They Live" with Roddy Piper, which has these signs that says "Obey" on it, like that, which is a cultural meme that survived its origin. You can see people wearing t-shirts and baseball caps and stuff that says "Obey" on it, but they don't know where that came from or why it's potent in that context. So it's taken on a life of its own. Molly Sims plays the character who is wrapped up in bandages, and she of course played in the TV show Las Vegas. Over 100 episodes of that. She has a career of her own here. The faces of the normal people were very different in the 1960s version. They look like that. And now people are more sort of just clay faced. So they've redone this. And also they aren't uniform. The 1960s version was very, very uniform. They look very much the same. But that's no longer the case here. The idea of this very, very old saying, the axiom itself is old, like it's classical Greek old. But the phrase, "Beauty's in the eye of the beholder," is from 1878. Margaret Wolfe Hungerford, Hamilton, I think was her name. And she's the first who coined it in English in that particular way. I don't know. Is it cheap to remake old classics? Not sure. I enjoyed this episode, even if it is just a remake. They've done a good job of it. They've been very faithful to the original. They didn't try to jazz it up or do something dumb with it. They paid homage to it in a delightful way. I think they did a good job. But I do understand how people could be frustrated with the lack of originality if that is what they came for this series. There are stories worth retelling. This might be one of them. Next week we are developing some film, I guess, and we'll see if we can catch some ghosts on celluloid. I look forward to seeing you then. Take care now.